I had started to discover the 3D oil technique. And so I started adding, those classic Monet techniques, but then doing my thing. So basically, this painting, I was looking at it earlier today. I haven't looked at this painting in 15 years. It's literally been in the vault. And I was trying to figure out, what the hell did I do? How did I do this? Because my painting style has so evolved over the years. But what I'm going to do tonight is just do a quick demonstration to the best of my ability and use these techniques that I was using almost 20 years ago. And the other thing is, too, that these colors are, like Rankin, the stuff I do right now, this is much more subdued. And so I was using a much more limited palette in those days. And so I went through and I figured out what the different colors are, and I pulled those tubes out, and I had to slap my wrist because I kept wanting to pull, one of the new colors that I use like all the time now. And so, but I said, no, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with the colors that I originally was using almost 20 years ago. So let's get started. And here's the thing. So that what's cool about, unlike the performances I do with Valentine's, where I'm painting a painting before a large audience and I'm just totally focused on the painting, I really can't talk while I am doing the painting. But this is more like Bob Ross. I kind of get to channel him because I can paint and I can talk to you guys. So that's what I'm going to do, and sort of tell for people that are here, but especially for those artists. People ask me all the time, how do I do things? And they wanted to see if I can do lessons. And unfortunately, I don't have time to do lessons, but what I can do is these demonstrations and maybe teach a little bit. So I'm going to start first with the underpainting. I always start with a color that I call Liz's Black, and it's a combination of French ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson, which is a very dark red. I always get that mixed up on my palette first. Now, I may or may not use it till later, but I also always like to have it there ready, because even early on I tended to use these. And if you see, basically, I'm just mixing those two together, and what happens is that it gets this, if you can get a close-up, Arturo, just that looks like black. But it's not. It's actually a mixture of red and blue, and it functions as black, but then if I use it in a painting, it doesn't tend to get the painting muddy. So that's what that is. So let's look at this painting. Let's see if I can figure out. First color I'm going to pull is one I never use. Leah uses it a lot in her sand paintings. This is a color called Raw Umber. It's just a very dark brown. Getting a little bit of that. I'm going to pull a little bit of yellow ochre because I see that in there. Let's get this. What I'm going to do is just lay out some of the basic colors that I see in that painting, and then see if I can get, actually that's raw sienna, very similar to yellow ochre. Put the yellow ochre next to it, and you can see it's quite a bit more yellowish. And then I know I had to think a while when I was looking at these greens, what the hell green was that? But I'm pretty sure it's a color which is one of my favorite titles. It's called Hooker's Green. Now, I don't know where that came from, but Hooker's Green, yeah. So I obviously used quite a bit of that. And then a little bit of red, yellow, and that's going to be pretty much it for the underpainting. So what I'll do first is paint I'll paint the water, get the background, and then hopefully by the time I do that, we'll spend about 20 minutes, and then we'll take a break and play the Brandon Boyd interview, which, man, that was amazing. You guys are going to love that. And let's put a little bit of yellow in here. And so you can see, I mean, this is really a very limited palette. There's not a lot that I'm using. And then the final color, which we use in almost everything, is titanium white. So there we go. There's our basic palette. And because I'm going to be doing some rubbing and things, I'm going to use my gloves. Again, for those who paint in oil, this sure does save a lot of cleanup when you're getting into the messy kind of stuff. So we'll put those on. And I'm going to grab, oh, you know what? I need a t-shirt. Yeah, I better not use you. I got this just for tonight. You like my Western shirt? I'm kind of thinking that from now, I think Yeehaw is right. I think from now on, I was thinking tonight, I love Western shirts, but where can I wear them? I mean, there's no place I can go in Dallas and stuff. So I think when I paint live,
You can wear them anywhere in Dallas.
yeah, but then I'd look like I was from Dallas, or at least Texas. I don't know. So I think I'm going to start wearing them for a lot of these shows, just for the heck of it. All right, so here we go. Yeah, nope. So this one, I am going to start up in that corner and kind of, there's a real nice brown up there. And this is a very light technique. Unlike what I do a lot of times, this is more, it's a delicate, not heavy on the oil to start. But we're just going to start blocking this out. Oh, there's one more color I need here in a second. Another thing too, if you notice while I'm doing this, my teacher, her name was Liz Richardson. She was 76 years old when I started studying with her. And she's the one who really gave me an education and took the gift that I was born with, which is to be a colorist, and taught me the universal principles of art and why certain things work the way they do, why some paintings wind up in the museums and others don't. And a lot of what I'm doing here are things I learned from her. But if you notice, I've got this green here, and then I'm going to move it over to this part of the canvas as well, because one of the things Liz taught me is if you have kind of a significant color that shows up in a painting, you want to move it around the canvas. Keeps the eye moving. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm going to do this pretty quickly. It doesn't really take a lot of time. People ask how fast I paint, and I say, you know, it's pretty quickly, as fast as it takes, but not a minute more. Okay, and we'll just, so if you can see, I'm kind of using this as I'm going to model it after that and just use that to create the underpainting and see how close we can come to recreating this 20-year-old technique. Why not? The other thing you'll notice is that I try not to over mix everything. I try to leave it fresh as it hits the canvas. Now I need a little bit more of another brown here, which I just happen to have mixed up. And this one's called Burnt Sienna. And again, all these colors go back to my very first days of painting, which is kind of fun. And I keep looking back at that painting because I'm, in this case, using it as my model. Yeah. All right. I love painting. I mean, how much fun is this? Not a bad gig. Get to have fun, and I actually get paid to do this, if you can believe that. It still blows my mind that I get to do this and be grateful in the studio and just filled with joy, and then I get to share that with others and create a little joy for them as well. It's what it's all about, gratitude. enjoy. All right. Just keep moving. Now right here, if you look in this section here, this beautiful peach color, that's a combination of white and yellow and a touch of red, which I was surprised when I looked at this. I very seldom put this in an underpainting. It's just something I typically add later, but on this one I did. So I thought, wow, that'd be fun. Let's do it tonight. So, oh yeah, but you can see it just starts making that canvas come alive. And if you get too much red, you just come back in with a little white and yellow and blend it in. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to bring some of that down in to the canvas. Keep putting some of this brown in here. And the other thing too, this, oh, hey, you know what? So our Chicago gallery, our people that, our partner, the people that run it, I had COVID a while back, so I was laid up. Thank God I'm okay, got through it. But while I was laid up, they said, I get this thing in the mail, and it's a freaking Bob Ross chia pet. So I haven't done it yet, but or maybe, yeah, I mean, honestly, I love Bob Ross. I would love to do more of this. And that's what's so great. So, you know, this has been a challenging time. You know, a lot of things have happened over the last 6 months, but I tend to always look for, you know, what can I learn? There's always a lesson. There's always something that can come out of any situation. And one of the things for us, me and the team here at SLG, is, you know, our whole marketing program, people know it was live events, because you have to see our work in person typically. And last year we did 60 events, and by the end of the year, 60, we were exhausted. And we were getting ready to do the next year, and I did my annual Valentine's. We had a great show, and then this stuff hit after that. And overnight, our whole marketing program was gone. Done. So what do? So that's when we started saying, you know what? We got Zoom, we've got the ability. Let's start experimenting with some live broadcasts from the studio and reach out to the people that way. And it worked out so well that we said, heck, you know, I'm a reflectionist. Let's call it Reflection Fridays, and let's just start doing this once a month. And you know what? We're going to do this from now until the hay it comes, or whatever that expression is. What the hell, the hay comes? I don't think so. All right. Till the hay comes home? Is there anything even close? I don't think so. The cows come home, but they're eating the hay. That's what, I knew there was something. There was a point there somewhere. Okay, so again, notice how I'm moving the colors around, but see that right there? If I didn't bring some of that down, I almost missed it, but if I bring a little bit down in here, it'll pull the eye down. So I'm going to pop a little bit out of there. And if you notice too, for those of painters, I'm starting in a blank area and then working it into the other colors, so that, because the main thing with oil, if you're not careful, you can get muddy really fast. And I can tell you, the first years I was painting, I had some great brown paintings, and they didn't start out brown, but that's what they wound up as. Okay, so look at this. This is fun. Okay. Yeah, that's starting to look fairly pleasant as an underpainting. You do? Yes. No. No, I mean,
Going back to the,
this is going back in this particular one. This is the way I did it. Now, we do now, like our abstract paintings, both Leah and I both, we use, especially Leah, she uses the rag a lot. And hopefully, if she's here, we're going to talk about her newest painting. But that background she did was all done with a rag. But no, for my water lilies and my Valentine's paintings and all those, it's almost 100% knife. Yeah, so this is fun. And like I said, I had to kind of go back and see, wow, I had totally forgotten that I used this technique for an underpainting. But we're starting to get there. Okay, and let's just bring some of this. Need a little more burnt sienna. And some dark. And while I'm looking at my old painting, but I'm also paying attention to this one because, you know, it's a different format, different size. I want to make sure that it looks good within itself. So I'm just sort of adjusting as we go. And it won't take that long with this technique. One thing I like about this, it uses a lot less oil. We're talking about doing a video online course teaching the 3D oil technique, and one of the challenges is that oil is so expensive. Trying to figure out a way that people who are just starting out, like students that don't have a lot of money, will be able to do some of these techniques without spending a fortune. But that's one of the things we're working on now, see if we can come up with some alternatives and yet still let them learn these 3D techniques. Okay, it's looking pretty good. The other thing too is I don't typically paint on an easel. If you notice it's rattling around, we typically paint on the wall. That way we don't put pressure. We don't really have to worry about it jumping around, but this is a different situation. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. So what we're going to do, getting close, I'm going to do a little bit more on this underpainting, get some touches, get set up to where when we come back from the Brandon Boyd break, oh, the other thing we're going to do that we do every week is we have our director, Kristen Rivas, talk about something new in the gallery in our What's New at SLG segment. So she'll be doing that right after the Brandon interview, and then I'll come back and finish this painting. She'll be fun. Okay. So I also noticed, see, there's like some of these strokes I rub through. So I'm going to do some of that. I don't know if you can see that, Arturo, but it kind of gives you the feeling. Get a little bit of oil on there. Starts getting the feeling of water flowing through. And I also brought some of it down here. And I'm also, if you notice, got to keep rotating the t-shirt. And yeah, we're starting to make it look like there's a little bit of water flowing through there. I think I'm going to do a little bit here. Okay. All right. Looks pretty good. Okay, so one of the last things I'm going to do before we take a break and cut to our Brandon and Grace interview is add a few highlights, like see these things here and these. This I'll come back in with a knife, and this is where my Liz's blue comes in handy. Just grab a little bit of that and sort of do things like that. Yeah, get some depth and motion going. some up here. A little bit up here. I'm going to grab some of this brown in there with it. And you can see that's starting to give us a little bit of interest on top of that underpainting. And then also I want to just kind of accent these clouds here. Make it look like the sun's reflecting on there. We've got a cloud. We're at Monet's Giverny, and the clouds are in the background and they're reflecting off the water. All right, let's also get a little bit of this. And again, I'm kind of referring back to this just to show you, here's what I'm looking at. Trying to recreate some of the things I did, just totally, really thinking but not thinking. And, oh, look at that. I mean, that just starts to make it come alive. Oh, I love this stuff. It's so fun. And then I want to bring the eye down, kind of like that thing there. Let's just bring a little bit down here, not too much. Yeah, a few accents flowing through. A little bit of water here. And I think we're close. How are we looking on time? Are we anywhere close to where we could take a break for Brandon? Anybody know the time?
7:26.
Okay, perfect.
I know the time.
Okay, well, I
can tell you exactly what time it is.
Well, I think that's good, and I think maybe if you come in here.
I'm right behind you.
I'm so glad. I hear you. All right. Okay, guys, there's the underpainting.
It looks great.
Close?
Yes.
Similar.
Picture,
okay.
Painting perfect, not picture perfect.
All right. So, Grace, yesterday,
So,
who did you talk to?
I spoke with Brandon Boyd. I had a great interview with him about his new artworks at SLG, and they're right here. You guys are going to see them in a minute. It's really exciting. You will also see the original Brandon Boyd Bruja. It was a print, but the original is here. It's newly framed. It looks absolutely beautiful. It has kind of a champagne frame. It looks amazing. So we're going to restream the interview right now.
Now wait, one caveat before we start. So yesterday, we launched the print yesterday. There's 150. 75 were to be sold in California with Brandon, 75 with us. Guess what?
They're already gone.
We sold all 75 yesterday.
They've
Now
all
that's
sold
good
out.
and bad, because we're going to just play this and it's going to be going, go into Samuel Lynne and you can get the print, go to the site. But here's what we did. Called Brandon, and because he's a cool guy, he said, you know what, I'm going to give you guys 20 of my prints you can sell tonight. So if you guys are watching and you're tuning in and you hear this, hopefully, I know we'd sold like 5 of them earlier already.
Yes, we did.
But they're amazing. And if you do want one, just grab it tonight. Hopefully there'll still be a chance, right?
I think there should be a few more left. So if you are watching and want a print, just go on our website and it should be right there. Super easy.
And you weren't nervous, were you, to interview Brandon?
No, I was so relaxed.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, he's amazing, and obviously he's this fabulous superstar, but he's such a fabulous, down-to-earth guy, and he's just fantastic to talk to, and I think you guys will really see that when you watch the interview.
Okay, so Marcus will run the tape for Brandon, and then as soon as that finishes, we'll come back for a second, and then you and Kristen are going to tell us about
we're going to talk
new.
about the newly framed piece that arrived today.
Okay, good.
All exciting
Perfect,
news.
yay.
Hello.
Hello. So I just want to welcome everyone watching. This is our Instagram Live with Brandon Boyd, and we'll be talking about some of his newly framed work and the very surprising print release. So Brandon, the last time we spoke to you was April, which was your Impossible Knots debut here in Dallas. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, new artwork you've been working on.
I have just been, sorry, I'm turning up my volume a little bit. I've been here in California riding this whole thing out with the rest of us.
I know, pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's very, very strange times, and not just a global pandemic, but everything else that's been happening. But, you know, I've just been here at home making music and continuing to paint and bonding with my dog. You know,
Oh, well, we all love that.
And how's everything with you guys in Texas?
It's great. We've been open here at the gallery. We are not by appointment, so anyone who would like to come in can come in. And I know we have a lot of people who weren't able to see your Impossible Knots collection, which we still have here. So if they would like to come in and see that, they still can. But yeah, we've been doing really well, all wearing masks, being safe, you know, being really cautionary. Kind of riding this all out, navigating through it all, much like you guys are, just like everyone else is. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen, but at least we know we're kind of all in it together.
Absolutely. That offers some semblance of peace, knowing that we're all kind of in this together.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would say that, you know, because this is such an unusual time for all of us, people have kind of been looking to art more and more and kind of getting more creative in so many different ways. And I definitely know that you have, just based on what we've been shown, but kind of talk to us about your creative process and in a minute, walk us through some of the new artworks that we're going to show. Sure.
My process, that's a good question. It's my day, you know, I suppose I've been in process sort of and working on that process my entire life. I've been slowly but surely kind of honing not only my technical skills as an artist and in whatever way that needs to manifest, whether it's in visual form with paintings and drawings and things, or with music.
Right.
I've been honing that process, and for me, part of it has been creating environments, and I've talked a lot about this in the past, but I enjoy creating environments that are conducive to creativity and that kind of welcome in muse. So part of that process, like I said, is honing the technical skills and the practicing and things like that. But I'd say the biggest part of it is remaining kind of like an open vessel, like trying to be as open and clean as a vessel as I know how to be. So those kind of inspirations from the universe rush through and we can make things out of them, you know.
Oh, well, we know all about creations from the universe here at Samuel Lynne, and we feel really lucky to be showing some of your newly framed artworks. I actually, before we jump into Bruja, I'd really like to talk about this artwork behind me called I Know It. To kind of talk about with us the detail about it. I mean, it's really fascinating. There's a lot going on in this picture and it's beautiful. So talk about your medium and what you kind of went about when you created this artwork.
This is the first time I'm seeing it framed. It looks lovely framed.
It looks amazing.
So this is a piece that I started working on probably 6.5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was living in Venice Beach at the time, and it started with a sketch of those female friends of mine in the picture, and then the rabbits emerged, and then the sketch of the houses. I think those were like the rooftops of Venice Beach. And then I rolled it up, put it on a giant piece of paper. I rolled it up and put it in storage, and it was in storage for like 5 years or something.
Oh,
I sort of forgot about it. And then when I moved up into the Santa Monica Mountains about 4.5 years ago. When I was unpacking, I unrolled it, and it was one of those things where I was like, why didn't I finish this? This is a really good sketch. So I really just dove back into it. And I suppose I was alluding to this idea of like an extrasensory perception that's available to us if we're open to it. And then you can kind of see at the lower part of the painting, it says ESP. And then hence the person in gold with the vision all through his chest, basically proclaiming, "I knew it." That's like the idea.
So I can't believe that you had this in storage for 5 years, and then you were like, okay, I'm creating this, and then you were like, well, I gotta put it away. But then it came back and you were like, well, here we are. And now it's here at SLG, perfectly framed and looking fantastic.
Yeah.
So the main reason that we have you here today is to talk about the Bruja print, which we have the original right here at SLG. People were really excited to find out that this was the print that you were releasing. So talk about, you know, I love this image. I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful artwork. So what was your creative process behind this one?
Thank you, by the way. Oh, wow. This is the first time I'm seeing it framed too. It looks really nice. Good job, you guys. This was, you know, I have a couple of different ways that I work. Sometimes I will do sketches of friends or loved ones based on them just sort of sitting in front of me. But more often than not, especially over the past few years, I've been doing sequences of photographs. And so I can study the photograph a little bit longer and pull certain themes out of it that I wouldn't be able to just when someone's sitting there for a few minutes in front of me. I get to kind of obsess over the photograph. So with this one, I was photographing my girlfriend Sarah, and I had her making different shapes with her arms and covering her face and reaching up towards the sky. And there's actually a handful of pieces that I did with this sequence of photographs with her. But I originally was trying to create some kind of like almost like a Shiva-esque or a many-armed
Yes,
god
that's exactly
or
what I
goddess.
thought it too.
Yeah, and then
Well, it's such a...
I could
Go ahead.
have stopped. Sorry, I could have stopped at one point, and then I started throwing acrylic paint on top of the watercolor, and then I thought I fucked it up, but I just kept moving with it, and I started letting the lines get looser and looser, and then something kind of magical emerged. And in that magic, I started to deduce that she was more like a good witch, harnessing the darkness and bringing it into the light. So hence, Rupa.
I know, she almost looks, the way that you've sketched it and then painted it, it looks almost like she's a divine being, which I really love looking at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that you've done this and then kind of given her almost like a third eye, like an open chakra, which I think is really interesting. And it's so beautiful to see framed.
Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you. That's the idea, yeah.
Show the print.
And then, so this is the original, but we do have the print right here.
Nice. It looks just like the original.
I know, and they all come with your signature, which is really exciting. I know everyone wants
those
that.
are at my house. Just I signed them just about a week ago. So just so you know, I touched every single one of those pictures. But I'm COVID free, so don't worry.
Can you hold up the signature, Grace?
Hi,
A little higher.
everybody. I'm Billy.
There we go. Look at that.
That is the signature for everyone watching.
Yeah.
You can kind of get a close-up of the print. I mean, it really does look exactly like the original. It's pretty incredible what you guys have managed to do. I mean, this is such...
Yeah, it's a quality print.
Oh, yeah. It's such a beautiful piece of art. And I just want to mention, for those who are watching who were not joining us in the beginning, these are available to purchase on our SLG shop, our website, which you can go to the Samuel Lynne Galleries Instagram story and just simply swipe up, and you'll be redirected to the website, and then you can have your very own Bruja print of your own.
I'll post a link to it on my Instagram as well after we're done talking.
Great.
How about these last two?
Now, let's go ahead and move on to some of your other artworks that are new. Can you tell us a little bit about this one? Have you used, is this chalk and paint?
So the base of it, see, I haven't seen this framed either. You guys do a great job of framing. Congratulations.
It's a surprise for everyone and for you.
The base is watercolor, and then I went on top of it with oil pastel. And I kind of just go into a non-specific frame of consciousness and let the oil pastel tell me where to go. One of the fun things about painting, and I know that people out there listening who have ever painted or anyone interested in painting, I know JD there can relate to this. There are times when you have a very clear idea of what you want to accomplish in your mind, and sometimes you get there and there's something fun about that, but the most enjoyable ones are the ones that have no clear destination, where you're basically giving yourself permission to just sort of wander creatively. And this piece is a perfect example of that. I was merely wandering through paint and ideas, and I didn't even intend on showing it. It was just something that was fun to be doing, and it just happened to turn out, kind of nice. So, and it looks even better framed.
Oh, it looks beautiful. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
And then, so down here we do have a blank spot. Now, this is your painting from Surf Lodge, and it is currently being stretched out and framed, and it will be available tomorrow. So it's not here now, but it'll be here very soon, and it's huge. We know that it's a huge piece. Can you tell us how big it is?
I don't know. I don't know if it can be measured.
Look, it won't even fit on the screen, Grace. Look at that.
It is 89 by 111 inches. So it's huge, and we cannot wait to have it delivered tomorrow and be installed into the gallery. So it'll be available to see tomorrow.
On the show.
And also, tomorrow night we have Reflection Fridays Live, which will be replaying this interview, and we'll be finally able to show this giant, amazing Surf Lodge piece, which can be our new surprise for tomorrow evening.
Nice. Right on.
And then last but not least, this image, artwork.
That looks great too. This is amazing for me. I get to see all these pieces framed. They were just like pieces of paper on my floor. Now they're all framed and fancy looking. Thank you guys. Yeah, I remember doing this one too. I may have more for you guys there, JD. I have a few more paintings that were in the same sort of spirit and intention of this Impossible Knots series.
Well, I'll jump in here, Brandon, because I'm in here in the background with Grace. But yeah, these are amazing. And you're right. When we got them back today, framed, doesn't it just? It's like, yay!
So excited.
Yeah, yeah, they're amazing, my friend.
It's an exciting
So
moment.
excited.
We've worked on framed. It's a little bit like they feel they're finished. This iteration of the art is finished. One of the other really cool things about the process of painting and, well, making anything, I suppose, whether it's art or music, is there's the idea that it's sort of finished from the person that made it. So in this case, like I did that painting and it's like finished from my point of view. But one of the things that's fun about art to me is that it's never really final though. Like it'll live there for a while and then people will come in and see it, and it's unfinished because they're interpreting it as they move past it. And then if it is lucky enough to move into someone's home for a period of time, then it like occupies that space and it continues, like there's a life of it, whether it's a song or whether it continues on and on and on. I like that.
Well, we love it here, and we're really excited to be able to have shown these to you, newly framed. I really love that you've not only included what you did on the previous artwork here, but also this amazing detail of this work here. I mean, it looks amazing, and I think this is this method that you use is definitely one of my favorites because the attention to detail that you have is so amazing, and then when you see it in person, it's just fabulous to look at and really kind of fully engage in for a long time.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying so. I appreciate that. I love being able to obsess over something in kind of a safe environment. You know, obsession isn't necessarily something that is encouraged in us. And when it comes to art, though, I have permission to fully obsess and become like unnaturally engaged in something. And so I like to go into the tiniest details as I know how, as small as I can see, and then scale it back further and further and further. It's a lot of fun for me.
Oh, I love that. And you can definitely see how much you really care and the dedication to your artwork, because every piece that we receive and anything that we look at, it's just beautiful. And we feel very lucky to be able to have that here in the gallery.
You're sweet. Thank you so much.
Of course. So tomorrow night, those of you who are watching, be sure to tune in to our Reflection Fridays, where we will be streaming on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. I will put the links up available tomorrow, and we will be restreaming this great video with Brandon Boyd himself. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about your art and the new exciting Bruja print, which everyone was so happy to hear about. And we will be showing you the new South Lodge piece when it is readily installed in the gallery tomorrow.
Right on. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. So don't forget, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we will be restreaming this interview with Brandon. Brandon, thank you again. Last time I saw you, it was April, so very happy to have had this interview with you. I hope we can see each other soon once all this pandemic is over and we're all back to normal again.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much.
All right, how was that? Yes, Brandon Boyd, Grace. And guess who's here? Me. You guys were asking earlier if I had my Bob Ross wig. I didn't, but Victoria and Jean Dixon stopped in earlier, and they walked up after you said that and said, look what we got for you guys. So I am channeling Bob Ross tonight. Anyway, there you go. There's the wig. But it's hot, okay? Man, how do you guys deal with having hair? I forgot, yeah.
Actually, you pull it up often because it's too hot.
I love it. All right, so we got a little bit of time left in the show. And boy, Brandon is an amazing guy. And for those of you who tuned in tonight, we sold the first 75 yesterday. I think we've got a few left of his print Bruja, but amazing. And then right now, we're going to go real quick, right? Are we ready to go? So Brandon, that big space that you saw in the interview, the painting was framed and came today, and our director, Kristen Rivas, and our assistant director, Grace Cooper, are going to tell you about it right now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us back. So if you missed the Brandon Boyd live yesterday, you might have noticed that there was a piece, an artwork missing from the wall. Well, it's here today, and we're going to talk about it with our Samuel Lynne Galleries director, Kristen Rivas. So, Kristen, tell us a little bit about Gold in Chaos.
So this artwork we actually just received yesterday. It was rolled, so we actually took it to the framer. We had it stretched and framed, and we actually had not seen this piece in person. We had vaguely seen a picture of it, And we were really stunned when we got it in today, and it is gorgeous. A little history about the work is that this was actually created. Brandon did this live in front of an audience at the Surf Lodge in the Hamptons. It was over 3 days. There was 3 canvases this size. And what he did is over a 3-day period, he painted these live. And then John Legend actually played in front of this piece. So it has a little history behind it, but if you want to get a look at it, it really is gorgeous. It has all of the line work that's really representative of Brandon's work, but on a massive scale. And if you also look at some of the black in the background, there's really all of these splatters and paint where you can just see that this was a really action painting. So he really took his time to go over all of this and then do all this detailed work. So it's really just gorgeous, and we're so lucky to have it.
So if you missed yesterday's live, this was the piece that was missing. And I also talked about with Brandon the kind of intricate details that he goes into when he talks about this. And I don't know if you guys can see how actually enormous this artwork is. I mean, at the framers, they stretched it out and they framed it perfectly with this kind of black frame. But it is huge. I mean, I'm 5'3", so you can only imagine how large this piece is in real life. But it looks absolutely fantastic, and we are so excited to have it here at SLG. So if you would like to come in and see it, please do, because we are open.
And, you know, I was actually going to talk about this piece right here, if we want to move over. So this is actually the newest piece that Brandon has done. We just got this in as well, and we just framed it. He talked about it a little bit in his interview, but it's really cool because this is definitely the newest piece he's done. You know, because there is quarantine, he's not touring. And so he is at home painting, creating. And so this was the newest work. And this kind of blends what his newest style, which is kind of this more free form with the oil pastels. And then if you go in here, it also has all of the line work that is really representative of him. So it's a good juxtaposition of the two styles. So this is just a fantastic work.
And this artwork is called Rabbit Ears, which you can kind of see a little bit of those in the painting. I mean, it's really incredible to see up close. And in a way, it kind of looks like the larger piece right over here. And this artwork is called Love Language. And we obviously all know how important love languages are. So yesterday in the live, he talked about this. And this is a little bit different than Chaos in Gold. It's less metallic and it almost looks a bit chalky, but it's still just as incredible as all of his pieces that we have here. Kristen, do you want to tell us a bit about kind of in more detail?
Sure. So this is actually, so you do see the line work, but it is a little bit messier. It's definitely a lot more free form, and I think he really just had a lot of fun with this painting.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And if you kind of go in here, you can really see how textured it is in certain points of the artwork, which Brandon often uses quite a lot of that in his work. You will see a little bit come out from the canvas. A lot of that kind of technique was in his Impossible Knots collection, which premiered here in March. Unfortunately, it was all virtual. However, it is still here. So those of you who haven't seen it, you're more than welcome to come in and see it. And then last but not least, we definitely want to show you guys the original Bruja artwork. Now, this was the print that he did. The print is available on the Samuel Lynne Galleries website, but this is the original artwork. And when he was talking to us yesterday, he mentioned that he kind of made his girlfriend strike all these really interesting poses with her hands in the air, and he took all of those positions and combined it all into one piece, but it looks amazing. And I think Kristen is going to talk about this new piece. It's also quite big. It's called I Knew It.
Yes, so this is actually one of my favorite pieces. It has a lot of different elements in it. It has some of the metallics that he's known for, but also a lot of the representative figures. I love these bunnies down here. They almost look like evil bunnies, which I'm kind of into. And it also has, you know, the houses, the women, just a little of everything.
I know, it's really amazing. And we see 3 women, and it's interesting kind of the detail around each of their eyes. It's quite a powerful looking piece, and it's really fun to just have here in the gallery, have on our wall. We see it every day, and we really like that.
Yeah, well, and I feel like Brandon, he actually has done, in a lot of his work over the years, he's focused a lot on eyes, and sometimes even scratching out the eyes or really, you know, taking away one. And I think that's just about seeing, really seeing through people. So, you know, it's really representative.
It definitely is. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us for this segment. We're going to go back to JD live in the studio. So let's see his painting. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Wow, so that's great. So Kristen and Grace, thank you for sharing what's new at SLG. And we are just thrilled. I mean, Brandon is an amazing, he's one of those multi-talented, gifted people, amazing musician. Leah showed up, yay. Hey, real quick, come up here. Okay. Just, yeah, I want to, where's, hey, can you have Arturo come up with the camera? I want to show people real quick before I start Leah Fisher's new painting. Hey. And have Grace come with the mic too. Yeah, come on in here, guys.
Hey, guys.
Yes. All right, so Leah Fisher just showed up, yay. And so Grace, can you bring the mic over? Can you bring that over?
Yes,
yeah,
of
come
course.
on in here. Okay, so yesterday Leah finished an amazing painting and we left it on the wall. So would you guys mind just for a second showing us what you did, Leah?
Sure.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So guys, this is Leah Fisher. She is one of our artists here, and she is absolutely fabulous. I love her paintings and all the artwork she does. She's quite a genius, in my opinion, and I think everyone else is when they see her artwork. So Leah, let's talk a little bit about this piece and your kind of creative process behind it. And I'm going to go right behind you here. Okay. So we get the full...
Sure. I mean, it's a little hard to follow Brandon Boyd. I mean, the rock star. I'm like a tiny little rock star.
Rock star in your own right.
In my own right, for sure. So this is part of my sand series, and this is really a style that when I first started painting with the three-dimensional oil technique that J.D. Miller taught me, this is a variation of what I started with. And you know, what's characteristic of this is that there's always a smooth background with something coming out of it. And I think what was going on in my life and what has been a continued theme through the past 9 years is just kind of an emotional breakthrough. I think that you feel like maybe there is something that is happening, that is coming out, that's beautiful, that's coming to you. So this is probably, if someone said, you know, what is Leah Fisher known for, this is a very symbolic painting of what I'm kind of known for. Although there's been different colors, different textures, different feelings, but this is very much a staple in what I do creatively.
Yay.
Well, I love it. So Leah has all of her, most of her paintings all over the gallery, and every time I come in, I walk through and I just think, oh, I want to take that home to my apartment. I love it. And I think this is a commission, or is it, no?
It's a commission for J.D. Miller.
Okay.
He said, can you please paint me another sand painting, because we sold them all.
So it's an extra special commission, but they are absolutely fantastic, and we're so glad that you guys were able to see some of Leah's genius, because it is such a treasure to see every day, and it's really cool when we see her in the studio working, because that really is a piece of art that you can't put a price on.
Yay, Leah Fisher, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, well, I guess now I have to get to work, huh?
I know, you need
What
to...
are you doing up here?
I am painting. I brought out one of my original water lilies out of the vault.
It's beautiful.
And this was almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I don't, I haven't painted in this style since then, so I'm doing a miniature version of trying to recreate the techniques that I used 20 years ago and using the same color palette.
Absolutely.
So
gorgeous.
I'm almost done. I've got about, maybe 25 minutes to do it, but hell, no pressure.
But you're
Yeah.
almost.
You need some wine.
I've got some wine, yeah, I'm rolling.
You
Thank
need some
you,
wine in
Leah.
your Bob Ross wig.
And by the way, so when you asked if it was a commission, she's right. We cannot keep these paintings in the gallery.
No.
Everyone she paints, and so I said, Leah, we need another sand painting. We need it big. And guys, she knocked it out of the park on this one. So
Every time.
thank you, love.
Every time.
You killed it. All
Okay,
right.
so am I gonna
You
hop
can just
out
yeah,
and-
you can just get
so
know
you can
go
get back
some
painting
wine
to
or
your
yeah
water lily?
yeah my water
All right.
lily.
Yes, the water lily.
All right.
Okay, guys, I will be back in a minute. In the meantime, just enjoy JD painting. So
All right.
there we
Thank
go.
you. Good
Of
job.
course.
Okay, yay. Grace Cooper. Okay. All right, so I've got a little bit of time to go. For those that are just tuning in, I'm revisiting a style that I did 20 years ago. I've painted, close to 6,000 paintings now in my career, and about every 200 or 300, there's one that's just really special. And from different series, I always try to keep a painting to just add to my personal collection. And this is one of my first ones, and I love this painting. And I have literally not looked at this painting for 15 years. So we brought it out this week, and that's what I'm doing. So again, I'm using the color palette I used to use. I've added a lot of colors, metallics and all kinds of crazy stuff, but this is a basic impressionist palette. And I've got the underpainting down now. This is just a small version, and I'm getting ready to put the water lilies and some flowers, and we're gonna be done. And our second Reflection Friday program will be in the can. Is this the third, or is this the, no wait, this is the second official one, right? Oh, whatever, the third. You're right, Marcus. You're the director. It's the third, yeah. I love it. I don't like being right.
Why are we counting?
Good question. Why are we counting? I don't know. And why does it matter, right? I don't know. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to throw on some, this is color, and again, I'm talking about this because I really don't have time to teach, but for people that are painting and want to learn the reflectionist 3D style, this is a chance to sort of share what I'm doing. But this is a color called light yellow, and it's actually a green. It's a yellow green. I'm going to use that. I'm using some titanium white. I'm going to bring in some raw sienna. And these are colors, again, that I used when I was early on. I had a very limited palette based on the Impressionists. And I'm going to create some lily pads, and then we're going to do some flowers, and we're going to bring it all together. So I'm kind of looking at this. I've got more of that raw sienna in there. I've got that, and then a little bit of French ultramarine. No, that's my Liz's black. I need some French ultramarine blue here. And we're going to bring this painting together. Oh yeah. And then I need a little bit of purple. And the actual color is permanent mauve. And I'm going to make some lily pads. And again, this is a derivative of what Monet started. He was the first to paint water lilies. He built his amazing water garden, Giverny. And because of him, he created a whole new style of paint. So here we go. I'm going to get some of this on my knife. I'm not going to overmix it. Got a nice little blob there. And let's just start one right here. There we go. And I'm going to work pretty quickly. This is the fun part. Brings it all together. Oh yeah, there we go. Probably should have my Bob Ross on wig for this last part, but yeah. Okay. And again, I do this while it's wet. I work quickly. It's wet and wet. And the whole painting will be done at the end. Okay. I keep wanting to go over there and paint on that one. I forget that I'm doing this one. Okay, so we're creating some water lilies on here. Let's get a little bit of dark green in there. There we go. Oh, there it is. Yes, indeed. So, guys, we'll be doing this once a month on the first Friday of every month. We're calling it Reflection Fridays because we are reflectionist artists. And we're just going to have all kinds of things. Next month, I don't want to announce it yet, but we'll have a special guest as well as possibly some entertainment. So each month we're going to add something new, keep it interesting. And I will most times do at least a little bit of painting demonstration as part of it. So this is tonight's, revisiting the water lilies. Okay, yeah, it's looking good. And we're just sort of building. Now you can see it's a little bit different than the original, but that's okay. That's just part of the process. Every painting is always different. Don't worry about that at all. Okay. I like that sienna color that's in the original, so I'm going to add a little bit on top here of these to get that same flavor. There we go. We're in Monet's garden right now. His water garden. And then just kind of move up around the canvas. You can imagine the water lilies floating up a little farther away, so they're going to get smaller. And they tend to congregate in groups. And this is a technique that Cézanne pioneered. He didn't use true perspective. He used it by creating shapes and varying the sizes and superimposing them to build the illusion of depth. So that's part of what we learned from him. Okay, starting to get a nice field there. Let's get the ones in the distance. If you notice, they're getting smaller and smaller, but they're still part of the same style. And up here we'll get a little grouping going as this thing sort of recedes. Now, see how that depth is starting to build some depth, the illusion of depth. Okay. And then I want to add just a few accent colors in here because it doesn't necessarily occur in nature, but that's the beauty of being a painter. We're just accenting nature. So I'm bringing a little bit of these violets in to complement some of the yellows in this background. Yeah, see how that adds depth? Excellent. Got a little bit too much there, so I go over it. Boom. Easy. Okay. This painting's coming together. Bringing some more purple up in there. Little French ultramarine blue. Whew. Oh yeah, see how that vibrates against the orange? the Impressionists, the other thing that they taught us was all this stuff happened in the 1800s that gave them the opportunity to revolutionize painting. But one of them was there was a scientist named Chevreul, and he worked for a textile manufacturer, and he is the one who started looking at colors, and he created the first color wheel. The color wheel didn't exist until the early 1800s, and he identified that there were 3 primary colors: red, yellow, and blue, and then you combine those to make the complementary colors. And what the Impressionists learned was that if you set 2 complementary colors next to each other, it starts the eye vibrating. So for instance, in this painting, I've got this beautiful yellow. So I just added a touch of purple in there because yellow is the complement, purple is the complement to yellow, starts getting the eye vibrating. Same thing with this orange. The complement to orange is blue. And so I've put just a touch of this French ultramarine blue. And that's what we learned from the Impressionists. And I use it in just about every painting I do, whether it's traditional or abstract. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. I want to leave enough time to put some beautiful flowers on there. I'm going to add just a touch of depth here. This little area, not too much, that was too much. But beautiful thing is, we grab the rag and bam, there it goes. And there we go. It's that easy. And let's just put just a touch of this orange up there to bring the eye up. Not that much. Okay. All right, that feels pretty good. Let's do some flowers, and then we'll bring this Reflection Friday to a close. This is the fun part. So these are water lilies, and I don't know if there is a red water lily. Do you guys, anybody know? I don't think I've ever seen one, but guess what?
It's like a salmon color, isn't it?
It is, and you know, that's what I love. As a painter, I can create my own world. And so I don't know what made me paint the first red water lilies, but this was the first painting 20 years ago. So let's do it again. What the heck? And what I'm going to do here is get a fresh palette. And I want to have a totally clean knife for this. And I'm going to put a big amount of red there. This is cadmium red hue. And again, don't be chintzy with the paint. With three-dimensional oils, that's the thing. You want to just use whatever paint it takes. And I'm going to get a little alizarin crimson, which is a very dark red. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of the magic sauce in here. This is an impasto gel. If you see that, it's not colorless, but it's got a sort of a brown tint. But what it does, it mixes into the paint, and it makes it flow really. It's almost like a lubricant, and it makes me able to do really, really flowing, sophisticated three-dimensional touches that I could do it without it, but they wouldn't be as beautiful and as flowing, almost like blown glass. That's what it allows me to do. It's not necessary, but it definitely is fun. Okay, that's it. And again, these are my early colors. I've got cadmium red hue, alizarin crimson, and that's all we need to make these flowers. So let's do some. What I'm going to do is get a little bit of this in here. I don't over mix, but I also got a little bit of paint on there. And then let's just, I'm going to put it right here, right in. This is one final thing. On canvases, if you divide them into thirds, where those points intersect, I call those the phi points because it's after the golden number, 1.618. And if you put something of like a center of interest on the phi point, it's the strongest point in a canvas and it anchors your composition. So I'm going to put this first flower right on that phi point. Bam. Just like that. And I don't do it too hard. I want it to be, I do use a soft touch because I want it to stand up off the canvas. Oh, look at that. See, you just let that there. That's not a mistake. That's part of the deal. Just make a few petals coming off here. There we go. And then let's just build it like that. All right, I am gonna clean this one up a little bit. Pick it up off there, move that there. Wow, there we go. And then let's also, I do think I'm going to add a little accent in here, like that. Watch this. I feel like that's connecting too much. Bam. There you go. You just take it off. I love oil. And I'm actually going to make that more of a petal. There we go. Yeah. All right. Just move around the canvas. How much time do we have, guys? Just want to make sure I finish. 9 minutes, plenty of time. No pressure. No problem, like they say in Jamaica. All right. And we'll just keep moving around the canvas. Bring the eye over here a little bit. I want to make this one more defined, so there we go. It's like Bob Ross said, it's your flower. It doesn't matter how you make it, it's however you feel. And that's my flower, so here we go. Let's put a few more up here. We're going to bring the eye around, like there's flowers in the distance. Just moving the eye around the canvas. All right. Don't want to get, one thing I want to do is, yeah, there we go. It's feeling better. I can always come back in with a little bit of green in here, like that. Gonna bring the eye up here, some more flowers as you move around. Bam, little guy there. Okay, looking okay. Let's make this one a little bigger here. Yeah, I like that. And then one here, just peek it out. Okay. I feel like we need this. Yeah, it's better. Okay. getting pretty close. I'm going to add some accents to those. Want a little bit of yellow in there. This wasn't in the original, but if I feel like I need it in this one. So I'm going to do it. Just gives a little bit. That's the thing. Every painting's different. Even though I'm revisiting an old painting, the one that matters is the one I'm doing today. So, and I think got one flower too many down here. Well, guess what? There you go. It's gone. Better. Starting to move the eye around. And we're really close, guys. This is fun. Okay. There we go. That's better. Need a little bit of that dark in there to give it flower some depth. Same thing down here. Just a little bit. Yep, coming together. We're real close. Seeing if there's anything we need. I think we're almost there. About ready to sign. That flower is not quite working for me. We're going to get it though. There we go. Yeah, better. Yep. Okay. Yep. Almost done. So is Grace around? So we can wrap up our show here in a second?
Oh, I'm right behind you.
Okay, cool. I'm about ready to sign this. And
Wow, it looks
I mean,
amazing.
you can see where it came from. It's a little different, but that's the way it works. I mean, it's 20 years later, right?
Right.
A little thing there.
I love your water lilies.
Thank you.
I think
love
they're very
you.
peaceful and serene. Oh.
All right, so let's sign this thing.
Yes.
Sign it wet.
Arturo, let's get up close to
Okay,
the
you ready?
painting and we can see.
Here we
JD
go. That's what I love. I do
signing.
it right in the wet paint. That's so.
And you tend to do this kind of with all your paintings,
Oh,
right?
My
You do kind of a wet signature,
Yes,
so
I
it
do it
really
wet.
goes
wet on wet.
into the artwork itself.
Yep. All right, let's see if this works. Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. Okay, and then what is the date? Because it's a live painting.
It is September 4th, 2020. So
Year
9/4/20.
9/4/20. Okay, and then the last thing is the dot on the eye.
Oh, this is
And-
his. This is JD's most signature piece of
Yes.
his signature. He
Here we
always
go.
tends to draw a large circle on top of his
A
eyes.
little thing right there. Here we
Yes,
go.
like a little daub of paint.
I know, I'm going to bring that. Here's the color I'm going to bring down. I always try to use it to sort of finish the painting, bring the eye down, and this is the color we're going to use. Yep, here we go. Bam, just like that. All right,
And
Done.
we're done.
done. Okay, yeah, good.
Okay.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It was pretty exciting to see you take something that's been in the vault for 20 years
Yeah.
and then recreate it in 2020.
Man, you were hardly even born then.
Yes, I was not.
Grace was like 4 years old.
I
How
was.
scary is that? Man, talk about aging myself, right?
I know.
Uh-huh. Dating myself. Okay, guys, so yeah, what a great day. I mean, next month, that will be again the first Friday.
Yes.
of next month.
So the first Friday, so October next month, we hope to see you all here again. Thank you all so much for joining us. It was really great to see JD paint his water lily, which obviously hasn't been done in quite a while.
Quite a while.
And then to also show you some of Brandon's new pieces and to restream the interview and to see the new Gold in Chaos newly framed painting, which was just done today. So that was really
Thank you
exciting.
to Marcus Jeffrey Miller, our director. And
then I think we have one more kind of thing to bring on camera.
Oh, good.
It's a little bit of a funny thing. So if you just give me a minute, I'll have something to show you. So JD often calls himself the Bob Ross. So one of our fantastic clients brought a Bob Ross wig with her tonight.
Can you put it on? Because my hand's covered in oil.
Yes, I will put it on for
I think
you.
that's fitting to finish with it, don't you? All right, there we go. Yes! We love Bob Ross. He's our hero.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We hope you really enjoyed seeing us and watching us, and we can't wait to have you with us next Friday.
Yep.
Next Friday month, the first Friday of the month, so it'll be October.
That's right, and guys, remember, we are reflectionists, and it's all a reflection of you. So we'll see you next month.
We'll see you next month, everyone.
Grace Cooper, great job.